a subsidiary of Russia's Rostex. Russia's Rostex. The UAC will construct several new facilities at the KNAAZ that are designed to test systems and equipment for the Su-57, including a boathouse for testing onboard radio electronic equipment, a fuel box, and
You read the title, right? EVGA at which the board partners were able to operate within. And when that happened, as far as I'm concerned, that sort of was the death of the enthusiast market, if you will. When enthusiasts running these companies and designing this stuff were able to kind of go, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we, and then they would do it. Well, NVIDIA doesn't allow that anymore. And so that's why you've seen a lot of these really custom, and when I say custom, I don't mean like Kingpin. Yes, Kingpin is a custom power delivery design and such, but in terms of the core design and the RAM layout and all, that's all very tied down and strict within the NVIDIA partner program. When you'd see these crazy custom boards that had dual GPU designs and stacked boards. Remember when they tried to come up, when I say they, I mean just custom designers would come up with a stacked PCB, where it's essentially two graphics cards that had an interconnect and then one PCIe. You saw that crazy stuff that you'd try and think would have fun and innovate and move the market forward. And no, all of that was shut down by NVIDIA. And that's not EVGA saying that. That's just what I know from the decade I've been doing this and having a lot of off-the-record conversations with different people and just how difficult it's been to be an NVIDIA partner. EVGA also sharing that sentiment. Very difficult to be an NVIDIA partner. And what do I mean by that? When you're in the business of creating graphics cards on the back of another company, being NVIDIA in this case, the AIBs were often the last to know when they were being launched, the last to know what they were going to cost, the last to know what basically anything Jensen was going to get on stage and say. I cannot tell you how many times I've had conversations with market reps that told me they found out the same time we did. Now you would think a company like EVGA would be some of the first to know. I can tell you right now, more often than not, we as reviewers get the drivers before the AIBs do. They have functioning working cards because they have schematics they're working within. Functionally they work, but in terms of being able to like see their true potential, and it's the software that requires to unlock that, the drivers and such, they don't even have access to them. I'm about to knock that over. They don't even have access to them. I can't tell you how many times it's been like, hey, do you have a driver? It's like, well, I have a press driver, and it's like, okay, because we have nothing. And that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy to me, to think that NVIDIA would put partners that in the dark. And I think it's about leak protection, leak control, honestly. I think that's what the reason is. And when they control the drivers and such by getting them to the press partners, like us and Linus and Gamers Nexus and Paul and Kyle and Harvard Canucks and all of them, they at least know okay, moving forward from here, there's probably going to be some leaks that are going to make their way out, but it's within a very controlled environment where it's very close to launch, whereas the AIBs are building boards probably months ahead of time. So it's about, I'm going to knock this over, I swear. It's about leak control, I have no doubt. But imagine trying to run your business on that. Because the other thing that there was an unknown is, what's the allocation going to be? Remember, NVIDIA has its partners, and it has to divvy up the stuff, in this case, the cores, amongst its partners. Now you're going to have your favorites. You're going to have your high performers, the brands that sell more in certain markets. And you're going to have your underperformers, maybe brands that don't sell as much. You never know exactly what you're going to get. Especially over the last couple of years with how constrained things were. Imagine trying to run a business on not knowing what you're going to have and when you're going to have it and even what's it going to cost. So you can imagine if you don't know how much of it you're getting, how can you put together a business plan to keep your business running? And one of the things you have to understand too, it's a very competitive market. You've got a lot of brands out there making graphics cards, and they're all competing. And so one of the things that you have to do is you have to try and price position yourself so that you can still stay afloat and make ends meet in terms of operating costs of your company. But there's not a lot of margin in graphics cards. I don't think a lot of people realize that when it comes to the actual profit margins of graphics, very low. If you are an AIB, let's say EVGA, and you're selling on Amazon, and you're selling at Best Buy, and you're selling at Micro Center, and you're selling at what other, I guess, Newegg or whatever other retailers there are, there's a lot of time and money and cost and effort in advertising that goes into each one of those outlets. And each one of those outlets get a piece of the cost too. So you see your margin just gets thinner and thinner and thinner. That's the cost of doing business. But what happens when the company at which you're partnered with starts undercutting you? What do you do then? Because that's exactly what NVIDIA is doing right now. And this is one of the principles that EVGA is basing its decision upon. is that NVIDIA is now competing with its own partner. Now, this is something that myself and other reviewers were concerned about back in 2016 when we were in Austin, Texas for the Pascal launch, when it first launched the very first Founders Edition card with the 10 series. We were very concerned, like, what does this mean for their partners? Does this mean NVIDIA is now doing business against the people they're selling the core to, which seemed like a very interesting conflict of interest. If I were a board partner, I'd be kind of concerned if the person I'm buying GPUs, and by GPUs I mean the core, from is now in business competing with me. What does that relationship look like? When the Pascal launch happened, there was a lot of brands, like reviewers and other written articles, and tons of people, including myself, said, hey, this is scary. Does it mean NVIDIA is trying to kind of eventually cut out the AIB and become their own retailer? And basically, NVIDIA responded to a lot of us saying, you guys don't know what you're talking about. These are very limited boards, they're very limited runs. We're not gonna be doing this full time. Well, then Cologne, Germany, and 20 series came around with the Founders Edition that was available full time. When that showed NVIDIA's true colors, about even being honest, came out and showed that NVIDIA was absolutely in business against the AIBs from that moment forward. Now, the Founders Edition cards typically were the ones that were at quote-unquote MSRP. Let me rewind. The Founders Edition cards back in 10 series were $100 more than MSRP. The 20 series came around, and that was when MSRP and Founders cost became the same. Typically, MSRP is the lowest cost. So now, as a board partner, you're in a very precarious position of trying to create a board that is quote-unquote better, because you want to improve upon the design. Typically, it was cooling and power delivery. But how are you going to do that against a company? Always build the board cheaper than you, because there is no sales to themselves. They have the cost of producing the product, the GPU core, that it can now manufacture against, and say, hey, we just have the cost of materials and manufacturing it, whereas they don't have any markup to themselves, if that makes sense. So they can always build it cheaper than the AIBs. Well, with all the cost reductions and cost slashing happening right now with graphics cards, this is, as of today of filming this video, this is an image-taking investment. You can see that right now a 3090 Ti Founders Edition is for $1,099. That is $900 below the MSRP of $1,999. Pretty good deal. I think most people would agree, even if the $2,000 was ever actually worth it. This is the price of the Further Win 3 card, which is currently showing unavailable. Now you know why, and we'll explain that supply chain in the next video. $1,399. $300 difference. The reason for that is the fact that there's already a loss. I asked EVGA, I said, is there a loss at that price? Does $1,399 to manufacture a 3090 Ti for the Win 3 lose you money? And the answer was yes. Because all of this price slashing, every GPU sold right now is a loss for the AIBs. Is $1099 a loss for NVIDIA? I don't know. I don't know what their cost to produce the card is. But this is a direct example of, again, what EVGA is explaining, an undermining, a disrespect, a non-mutual agreement, strong-arm tactics, play ball by NVIDIA's rules, or you're going to screw you, and then they end up screwing you anyway with pricing like this. Because it is the cheapest 30 series 3090 Ti on the market, period, in terms of compared to AIBs. So NVIDIA, being in a precarious position of obviously having a lot of 30 series to offsell, will absolutely smack the face of all their partners just to get back some of that cost. So, whereas EVGA's principles kind of stand is all of those things I've already explained. Not knowing when the product is coming, when it's going to launch, how much is it going to cost, when's it going to be available, not even getting drivers before reviewers. It's kind of like a bad relationship that you finally just had enough of. We specifically asked EVGA, okay, what does this mean then? What's the future of EVGA? Because now it sounds like, one, maybe they should partner up with another brand. AMD, Intel, sell the company. What's the future? EVGA not selling graphics cards, they're just E at that point. There's no more VGA. EVGA always stood for Extreme Video Graphics Adapter, right? So this is what E was. It was always extreme. Now it's just extreme. We're extremely not going to be selling graphics cards anymore. So Andrew said he has zero interest in selling the company. He will not be selling the company at all. I mean, apparently they own outright the building that they're in. Their overhead costs are very low. It's not like it's going to be a sinking ship or anything. This is a very calculated decision they've decided to make, where apparently, allegedly, the terrible relationship and strained relationship that exists between NVIDIA and EVGA is just not feasible anymore. And that's the takeaway from the meeting. Andrew's fear, if he were to sell the company, is what does the future leadership of the company do? Do they just then start making mediocre product? Do they just start making bad decisions that no longer go with the last 22 years of principle and philosophy within the company are? Because you have to admit, like, there's no brand I can mention where people don't have a problem with it. So that aside, EVGA has had one of the best warranty programs, the step-up program, standing by their product, US-based repair centers. Look, you asked anyone about EVGA's warranty and RMA process, you're gonna find outliers where people that have had problems, whether they do this with every company. But overall, it's been positive. And I feel like the industry's losing it, and that really sort of sucks. So what does this mean now if you're a current 30 series owner that's still under warranty, or let's just say you just literally today you bought a 30 series EVGA card, and you've got a 3-year warranty or whatever the warranty is on that card, and you're like, crap, what does that mean for my warranty? I asked that question specifically. There's a formula that they use because they have massive amounts of data of what are the yields, what are the failure rates, you know, what's the likelihood that you're going to have to warranty a product, and how much of it are you gonna have to warranty. They will continue selling 30 series cards that they currently have in inventory until they're gone. And however long that lasts is going to depend on, again, what's pricing going to do, what's availability, 40 series going to look like, people are just going to say, 40 series, what's the price? So they could be gone very, very soon, or it could take some time depending on what that backlog or pipeline looks like of inventory they have sitting there. I can tell you that apparently, as of right now, they don't have any 30 series in NVIDIA is obviously aware of all this. It's not like we're notifying NVIDIA this is a breakup. They already know. That's why, you know, you're not going to see EVGA's name on any 40 series stuff. So it's important that you guys, if you're waiting for 40 series EVGA stuff, it's not coming. So anyway, 30 series, there you have a formula that they're gonna be holding back products you have on hand specifically for warranty issues. So your RMA is still good, your warranty is still good. Hopefully the formula is accurate enough to where, let's say, 2 years and 10 months from now, you have a 3090 that dies, they'll have a warranty replacement for you or something. I hope it doesn't turn into there are more RMAs than there are backlogs / reserves. I really hope they're on the ball on that one, because that can turn into a really ugly situation. But the future of EVGA looks like they're gonna really focus on their other arms. Remember, EVGA is not just graphics. They've got power supplies. EVGA is very passionate about its power supplies. It really the EVGA as a brand really wants to focus on power delivery. And hey, that might be a better industry if 40 series demands what we're seeing it might demand in terms of power delivery. That might be a smart move. There's gonna be a lot of people need to upgrade their power supplies with 40 series. We already know that. They've got their peripherals like keyboards and mice, and the very small portion of the peripherals though is like capture cards. Even they had sound cards for a little while there. And motherboards. Motherboards is also not a huge market for them, but they do have are gonna have Intel motherboards, AMD motherboards, which we've already mentioned, Dark Kingpin, all that sort of stuff. But to kind of recap this, I feel like the industry is unfortunately losing a very important key player in the market when it comes to how much EVGA really stood by its product. I mean, I've been a customer of EVGA since like 2003, nearly 20 years. So to me, it's like, I know I left that meeting, which ended up lasting almost 4 hours, going, man, why do I feel like I just went through like a divorce mediation? It was really weird. I've never been through divorce mediation, by the way. I'm still married, you know, so I've only been married one time, but never. But anyway, I imagine that's what it would feel like, just emotionally, like just drained of going, okay, now we gotta comprehend and process, and I almost said decompose this info, whatever, poop it out into this video for you guys to kind of understand. But it kind of makes me feel bad for the industry, because the step-up program, no other brands did anything like the step-up program, where you had 90 days where if you bought a graphics card and there was something new that came out or you wanted to upgrade it, you could get like full cost of that card back towards a new card. Like no other brand ever did anything like that. It was huge. And EVGA undoubtedly sold like the most product in North America out of any brand. It's weird. It's weird to think that there won't be on retail shelves anywhere 40 series EVGA cards, which are always a huge partner. To me, it feels like If NVIDIA really valued this relationship, they would have never let it get to this point. But it's the takeaway from this meeting was that the leadership didn't value it, or they didn't hold the same value of this relationship that EVGA did, and it became allegedly very one-sided, very controlling, borderline abusive. It sounds like, and I'm using the term abusive. They didn't say that. That's the term I'm using based on just off the record, anonymous discussions I've had with other people in the industry of what it's like to work with that brand. But you know what? If NVIDIA is really working towards the model of being their own brand, selling their cards only, maybe they don't care. You know, maybe at the end of the day, this is a sigh of relief for them because there's that many more cores they have to build their own cards and to spread out amongst allocation, because basically this is kind of like, you know, that many GPU cores are now going to be available to other AIDs who might now be rejoicing because the allocation could go up. But I think it's a bad move to ever think it's okay to lose a partner, especially one as large and has been around as long as NVIDIA has been around. That's going to have a ripple through the industry. Is it going to affect the bottom line of anyone? Is it going to affect you as a consumer? Only time will tell on that one. So anyway, there you go. That's the crazy news. If you've got a 30 series graphics card, or you're planning on buying one, I think people might honestly be shopping for one right now too, saying, hey, I kind of want one of the last hurrahs of EVGA. You never know. That would be scary because, again, you really have to hope that they're doing the logistics side of things properly to have a card on hand. If your warranty were to, or your card were to fail and need RMA, this 3090 Ti right here, which we've only used for the review, now has a little bit more sentimental value, I guess. But I've never hid the fact that I'm kind of an EVGA fanboy. I've always been fair in my reviews. I've called them out when they've had problems. Remember with the 10, that's what this card is right here. This is actually a dead 1080. This is a GTX 1080 that suffered the VRM failure problems where the screen would just go black and the fans would go 100% anytime you went into this is a bad card. I've always been a bit of a fanboy of theirs, and I feel like now I just have to be a regular fanboy of all brands and not just any one brand. There we go, guys. I don't know what to say beyond the end of an era. 22 years of graphics comes to an end. 2022.
敵がいる。フラグを投げた。フラグを投げた。敵のシールドを割った。撃たれてるわ。敵を確認。リロード中よ。シールドをリチャージしてるところよ。
ほら、虫歯ならここにドリルがあるぜ。シールドをリチャージ中。ヘルミットを投げた。
テルミットグレネードを投げたわよ。
トンネルを
見つかった。撃たれてる。
モーター展開。横に攻撃されてる。シールドを割ったわ。危険をお見舞いしてやるよ。フェニックスキットを使う。シールドをリチャージ中。
撃たれてるわ。
ドリル発射。
シールドをリチャージしてるところよ。
モーターも出すんだ。さっさとこっちに行くぞ。手当てする。
ライフラインパッケージ要請中。リンゴ
ひよっこがいる。
ポップアップを発見。ダブルタップトリガーよ。
材料を見つけた。
標的を確認。今のは取り消して。
ドリルがうずいてるぜ。こっちを探索しましょう。リングは遠くない。残り45秒で閉鎖する。こっちを探索しましょう。見つかった。攻撃を受けてる。
リングまでもう少し。
シールドをリチャージしないと。私のドリルからは誰も逃げられねえよ。シールドをリチャージしないと。残り10秒。近くてよかった。撃たれてる。フェニックスキット。敵がいる。攻撃中。
リングの閉鎖が始まっています。ねえ、リングが動いてるわよ。
ひよっこを発見。こっちだ。
報告。
こっちよ。
ケアパッケージを輸送中です。
気をつけて。他の部隊があっちに火をつけ報告。ここで敵と交戦するわ。シールドをリチャージ中。
に敵を。
敵を発見。射撃開始。
敵のシールドを割った。リロード中よ。みんな新しい部隊が来てるよ。必要ならヘルスドローンを使いな。待ちな。フェニックスキットを使うよ。敵を確認。
回復中。でも警戒はしてる。シールドがいる。
ライフラインパッケージ要請中。
ここに敵がいる。こっちよ。
シールドをリチャージ中。
敵を確認。
追加のアイテムを手に入れた。
ドリルを使う。射撃開始。リロード中よ。敵のシールドを割ってやった。リロード中。
撃たれてる。
あのゴキブリのシールドを割った。
シールドをリチャージしてるところよ。
新型の敵はだ。ここを見ておく。フラグをな。ひよっこに攻撃されてる。シールドをリチャージ中。敵兵を捕らえた。すでにリング内よ。待ってくれ。向こうにひよっこがいる。了解。敵を発見。攻撃中。
撃たれてるわ。標的を発見。敵のシールドを割ったよ。リロード中よ。撃たれてる。敵がダウン。リロード中よ。
ここにひよっこがいる。
そっちを探索しよう。
リロード中。敵を倒した。ひよっこを発見。
ほら大きな。まだ仕事が残ってるよ。さあ挨拶してきな。シールドをリチャージ中。リロード中よ。
リングは近い。閉鎖まであと60秒。進化シールドを発見。レベル5ね。
シールドをリチャージ中。
ヘルメットを発見。レベル4ね。回復中だ。なに、つばでもつけとけば治る。こっちを探索しましょう。
ライトアモがいる。撃たれてるわ。
射撃開始。私のドリルからは誰も逃げられない。そうあったわ。動けない。シールドをリチャージ中。残り10秒。リングが近くてよかった。
を投げた。残り30秒。リングが閉じる。
リロード中よ。誘導はってやった。リロード中だ。
勝者が確定しました。ライトアモが切れた。APeX のチャンピオンとなります。
Some people
We got ourselves a showcase. So I designed a fleet specifically to build around Musashi being the star of this video. So to go ahead and show you guys what I built so far, Nagato, I kept my build I used from Meta 15s, but this time she is there just to buff Musashi with her 4th combined fleet flagship. Gives her a 10% firepower increase. Reload is really nice too. I think this is the part why I brought her in, just for the reload. But mainly it's just there for the 10% firepower and the reload. And accuracy is nice too, but mainly just that. Vanguard is there as the global buffer with her 10% global buff and the chance to give a 8% with Musashi. Musashi here, I ran with 4 builds. You guys will see in this video. The purple gun, the Izuma gun, soon to be called Musashi's gun because I made a petition about it. And the 457 George's gun, and lastly the Yamato gun, the 460. We'll be using all 4 guns for this showcase, and it's going to be really nice because it's going to showcase you guys exactly how powerful this ship is, no matter what gun she uses. And as for the Vanguards, we have Plymouth with her buff to give my backline Musashi an 18% damage increase with this right here. Helena, don't have to say much about her. The best buff in the world, can't say no to that. And Rune Moo's also there just to give a damage increase, assuming everything lines up, but I didn't plan out too much on whether it's going to line up or not. It's just 10% damage increase and all that jazz, right? So this fleet's built around Musashi. It's going to be great. Can't wait to try it out. And you guys will see in this video. So a lot of damage, good for bossing, wave clear, all that jazz. You guys will see in this video. Stay tuned, guys. Enjoy the ride.
各ホールドを開けますよ。
報告ファーストキル発生。
スナイパーストックを発見。ピースキーパーを発見。ショットガンボルトを発見。レベル3です。
グラップルを使うよ。
警告リングの閉鎖が始まっています。
ラッキー、もうみんなリングの中だね。
ライトアモが切れた。追加のアイテムを発見。
ノックダウンシールドを発見。レベル4です。
ありがとう。
報告ケアパッケージを輸送中です。
聞こえる。ケアパッケージが投下されたわ。
攻撃を食らってる。
あっちに敵がいます。
まずい。他の
敵を発見。撃たれてるわ。
フェニックス
わかりました。
シールドをリチャージ中。
フェニックスキットを発見。
必要ならヘルスドローンを使いな。
ヘルメットを発見。レベル2です。カー SMG を発拡張ヘビーマガジンを発見。レベル2です。
ショットガンボルトを発見。レベル3よ。追加のアイテムを手に入れた。シールドをリチャージしてるところよ。
グラップルを使用。
誕生日プレゼントを取りに来な。
心拍は聞こえないですよ。
誕生日プレゼントを取りに来な。
スナイパーストックを発見。レベル3です。
助かる。
バックパックを発見。レベル2だ。
それは役立ちそうですね。
スコープを発見。近距離用だ。
私のよ。
ポップアップを発見。ダブルタップトリガーだ。ジップライン射出完了。
あそこに敵です。敵がいますよ。あそこです。
みんな、次のリングの場所が分かった。マップを確認して。
敵発見。
敵を発見。攻撃中。
見つかった。撃たれてる。シールドをリチャージしてるところよ。
敵発見。
リチャージしてるところよ。
新しいキルリーダーが確認。
新しいキルリーダー注意しないとね。
アークスターを投げますね。グレネードを投げます。
お待ちかね。ジップラインの時間だよ。敵への攻撃。敵のシールドを割った。リロード中だ。
最高。
攻撃中。
敵のシールドを割った。アークスターを投げた。
標的を発見。
さあ、ショータイムです。
敵を確認。
あっちに敵よ。
撃たれています。
シールドリチャージ進行中。
シールドをリチャージ中です。
あっちに敵がいる。
何もかもお見通しです。ここに行きましょう。
敵を修復中。
シールドをリチャージしています。
アルティメット促進剤を発見。
気楽に行こうか。アルティメットが使えるよ。
アークスターを発見。行くぞ。警告。爆発物でホールドを開ける。
誕生日プレゼントを取りに来な。
カー SMG を発見。
あっちに敵よ。
スタビライザー。
ダウンしちゃった。
皆さん、次のリングの中です。
敵が近い。
許せない。
リパルサーよし、スタビライザーよし、息子よし。時は来たれる。私の後ろにお入り。邪魔者の分際で。
一人でどっか飛んでいくんじゃないよ。
騎士の力を貸して。
勝利に浮かれてはならない。 次のリングは遠い。
ファーストキル発生。ここはあまり良くないね。移動する。ファーストキル。これこそ弱肉強食だね。リングが閉じるまであと45秒。もし死んだらそれは自然淘汰っていうやつ。スコープを発見。スナイパー用だよ。
追加のアイテムを手に入れた。
オルタネーターを発見。ライトアーマーを発見。SMG を発見。拡張ヘビーマガジンを発見。レベル2だよ。拡張スナイパーマガジンを発見。レベル3だ。新しいキルリーダーだよ。いいね。偉そうに立っててくれた方がいい的になる。チャージライフルを発見。リング閉鎖中。リングが閉じるけどまだ外にいる。急いだ方がいいね。
私のよ。
R301 を発見。ハボックを発見。ライトアモを発見。拡張ライトマガジンを発見。レベル1だ。
ショットガンボルトを発見。レベルポップアップを発見。ハンマーポイントよ。ポップアップを発見。ダブルタップトリガーよ。
あんたたち空を見な。ケアパッケージだよ。拡張ライトマガジンを発見。レベル2だ。
これは使える。
ショットガンボルトを発見。レベル3だ。EVS ボルト SMG を発見。拡張ヘビーマガジンを発見。拡張スナイパーマガジンを発見。拡張スナイパーマガジンを発見。レベル3だよ。これがないと始まらないよね。
スナイパーのスコープが欲しい。
拡張エネルギーマガジンを発見。レベル2だよ。ああ、ありがとう。ああ。ヘルメットを発見。レベル2だよ。ポップアップを発見。ターボチャージャーだ。
ライフラインパッケージ要請中。
拡張ヘビーマガジンを発見。レベル3だよ。シールドバッテリーを発見。バックパックをシールドバッテリーを発見。それ使うよ。このホールドを開けるから下がってて。ポップアップ発見。スコープを発見。スナイパー用だよ。
これは欲しい。
スナイパーストック発見。レベル3だよ。
ありがとう。あなたと私はリズムが合ってるみたいね。
音楽は心に響くもの。この気持ちを分かち合えて嬉しいよ。レベル2だ。シールドバッテリーを発見。半分の部隊がやられたみたいだね。
報告。キルリーダーが
材料を拾ったよ。
乗ってきたね。ありがとう。 手に入れたよ。
クラフト中だからちょっと待ってて。エコーがいい場所を見つけた。そこに移動する。シールドバッテリーを発見。
乗ってきたね。ありがとう。
あ、でも今プレイリスト持ってきてないんだよ。
ラウンド2、リングのカウントダウンが始動。報告、キルリーダーが生まれました。
追加のアイテムを発見。
新しいキルリーダーだよ。いいね。偉そうに立っていてくれた方がいい的になる。レプリケーター接近中。